Good morning, class. Hope you're all doing well. Today, I'm going to start off by first showing you some pictures. They're actually kind of sad, so be prepared. These are some pictures that we're going to look at to reflect about today's society, the kind of world that we live in, the kind of resources that we use, and what that looks like today, right? So let's get started. Right here, we see a picture of a sunset, but in front of it we see this source of just pollution. See an energy plant, lots of pollution, lots of smog, things that you would never want to breathe in, right? This is impacting all the surrounding area very negatively, right? We can look at these pictures of global warming, right? The melting of our ice caps, of droughts, the effect that global warming has in our water supplies, drying up lakes and rivers, exacerbating severe weather, causing wildfires like we saw in Australia, like we saw in California and the Amazon rainforest, right? We've seen oil spills in the news, right? And the devastating impact that these oil spills have on the plants and animals nearby and those entire ecosystems, right? So these are, like I said, like sad pictures of some of the consequences of the way that human society is living right now, the way that we depend on the resources that can cause these sort of bad conditions for the environment and for us, right? So, but the good news is that this is not necessarily the future that we have to live in, right? We can have much better hopes for the future. We can live in a future where we don't have to see oil spills and air pollution and all these horrible effects of global warming as well. So let's talk about that now, right? We can live in a future that has and relies on clean energy, reliable energy that's going to provide for us, energy that will not run out, energy that does not pollute, right? We can live in a way where we can coexist with the planet instead of harming the planet. So I'm talking about renewable and non-renewable resources. This is what we've been learning about this week, right? So we can see two very different pictures of two very different types of societies that we can decide to live in, right? So y'all are the future. This is very important topic that's going to be affecting y'all, right? This is eventually going to be something that's in your hands when y'all are adults. So let's learn the most that we can about all the different options that we can have as a humanity that must depend on some kind of resources for energy. The question is, how do we get that energy? What kind of society are we going to be in terms of how we get that energy? So let's talk about our renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Like we talked about, renewable resources are easily and quickly replaced by nature. They're not going to run out because they keep getting replaced over and over. What are some examples? Sunlight, which shines every day. Water, the water cycle recycles our water every day. Wind is renewable. It's not going to run out. Wind is always blowing in some place on the planet. Animals are renewable because they can replace themselves. They can reproduce and make more animals. Chickens lay eggs. Those eggs turn into more chickens. That's a renewable resource. Plants as well. They reproduce. Plants, they make more plants. They have pollen, they spread their seeds, and they grow more plants. Non-renewable resources are not renewable because they're not easy to replace. They take a long time to replace, right? Coal, oil, and natural gas, like we talked about, are fossil fuels, right? Fossil fuels came from ancient dinosaurs and organisms millions of years ago that got crushed and compacted underneath the ground for millions of years, right? If it takes 1 million years to make coal, oil, and natural gas, that's not renewable. So that means if we run out, we have to wait another 1 million years. That's gonna take way too long. That's not a renewable resource, right? Metals, minerals, and rocks are also non-renewable. If you notice, all of these resources are made underground, right? They are part of the earth, and that's a process that takes many years, right? For metals to form, minerals and rocks as well. So these are non-renewable, right? It's going to take a very long time to replace these resources. So if we run out, we've run out for a long time. So some important notes about renewable energy, right? This is energy that we get from resources that are replaced quickly by nature, right? Renewable energy replaced quickly by nature, does not run out, and is better for the environment, right? Here we have solar panels, wind, and water energy. All of it is replaceable and renewable. Here's some examples of solar panels. Beautiful picture, lots of solar panels getting a lot of energy from the sun. So let's see how solar panels work. We get energy from the sun, energy hits the solar panel, and it transforms that light energy into electric energy that we can use to power our homes. Now, some pros and cons. Solar panels are expensive to set up. The technology is still new, so it's expensive to set up, but over time, all that free sunlight pays for itself, right? Because you're not having to pay to burn coal. You don't, to get electricity, right? The sun is free. You're not digging up coal. The sun is just shining, and that's going to be free for all the rest of time, right? So all that free sunlight, turn it into energy. The solar panel eventually pays for itself. Other forms of renewable energy: hydroelectric power. Hydro means water, electric means electric. So hydroelectric power comes from turning water flow into electricity. How do we do that, Mr. Gonzalez? Well, it's very similar to a water mill. You can see this GIF. We see this water mill spinning. And why is it spinning? Because so long as gravity exists, as long as we have gravity, water will always flow downhill and downstream, right? So because water is always going to flow downhill, if we put a mill or a turbine in that river, the water is just going to, by itself, is just going to spin that wheel, and we can harness the energy of spinning that wheel. So the modern version is a hydroelectric dam, right? That's the picture that we saw here. This is a dam. We blocked off this river, and then we let some of the water flow through, and we harness the energy of the water flowing through. So the water goes through the dam, and here it spins a turbine. This is mechanical energy. We're spinning the turbine from all that water, and that's converting mechanical energy into electric energy. So all we need is water to spin a wheel for us, and that creates electric energy for us. Boom, easy, and it's free, and it's clean energy. And that energy can then be used to power our homes and cities. Next, we have a wind turbine, where we're turning wind into electric energy. Very similar process, right? Instead of water, this time it's just wind. The wind is spinning this turbine. Again, that's mechanical energy. And when we spin the turbine, we have a generator, and that creates electric energy. So spinning the wind, spinning the turbine, turns mechanical into electric energy. Now, non-renewable resources. Like we said, renewable resources replace quickly. Non-renewable resources take millions of years, or at least a very long time to replace, right? Fossil fuels, for example, coal, oil, and natural gas, take millions of years to form. Rocks, minerals, and metals also take millions of years to form and be replaced because they are formed underground, right? Deep, deep underground, we can find deposits of fossil fuels, but because it takes so long to form, that's not renewable. That's not renewable. We're gonna run out if we use all of them, and then we have to wait another millions of years to get more oil, right? Non-renewable energy are our fossil fuels that we burn for energy. Again, they take millions of years to replace. They will very likely run out by around the year 2060. So about 40 years from now, we're expected to run out of oil and natural gas. We'll still have some coal left, but if we only have coal to rely on, we're gonna run through the remaining coal very quickly too. Finally, fossil fuels as a non-renewable energy resource pollutes and harms the environment. We have pictures of pollution. Here is an oil rig explosion, and here's an oil spill and the effect that it's had on the environment. So that's a lot. Let's sum it all up real quick. Renewable resources are replaced quickly by nature. It takes less than one human lifetime for that resource to be replaced. And these renewable resources don't run out. We have sunlight, water, wind, animals, and plants are renewable. Non-renewable resources take millions of years to replace and will run out. Coal, oil, natural gas, metals, minerals, and rocks. Remember, all of these non-renewable resources are formed underground, which means that they take super long to be replaced. Alright, that's it for renewable and non-renewable resources. Please go back to the video, take notes. You can always revisit it if you have any questions to help you out with your assignments. And with that being done, I'm out, y'all. See y'all next time.